Well, here's this article again. I've seen it a couple of weeks ago and now I've seen it on my feed again today. And it was actually published on December the 1st, 2013. And it goes on to say that scientific proof that thoughts and intentions have the power to alter the physical world around us. Now, after reading this article, I see that the emphasis on this article is to make the reader believe that the power of influencing our reality is in mental projection alone and mental intent. When in fact, when you watch the actual experiment, you will see that it's actually when the words are written down on the pieces of paper and taped to the side of the jars that the most significant changes are seen within the structure of the water crystals. And this is because it's the vibration of that intent now having a causal effect consciously when someone else looks at that image and understands what that symbol means and what that word means. And so that thought has now been expressed. It's no longer just a thought because it's now been relayed and expressed out into the conscious universe. There has been intent put behind that expression of thought by writing it down and placing it on the jar. And so you can imagine now, if you were to not only write it down and put it on a label and put it on the jar, but also then speak it, then that would increase the intent and increase the influence. And this is why we have the fifth chakra that nobody seems to want to use, because everybody wants to keep it up in the mental, like these articles want to try and give this perspective. Whereas down the bottom here it actually states words and feelings can change the physical structure of water. Words and feelings, it's words too. It's the intent of that expression being expressed into the physical plane that gives it even more strength. And so this is why when people start finding their voice and speaking out, regardless of what other people think, then they haven't really found their power. And you know, like, my idea of like why people don't just speak out is like, well, you're here in this life. What, do you just want to go out and just say nothing, even though everything around you really annoys you? You're just going to keep that to yourself, are you? I mean, you know, I've been brought into this shithole, and be fucked if I'm just going to say nothing about it. You know, I mean, they are destroying the planet around me, and I'm not just going to sit silently and say nothing about it. I'm going to use my fifth chakra, and I just think if more people did, and more people utilise the social media platforms we have with actually speaking out and making videos and actually creating more of a resonance, an imprint in the conscious universe. I mean, that's basically what's happening. When you're expressing your thought through the fifth chakra, you're making a strong imprint. And so you can imagine if there are a lot of people speaking that same truth, how much more of an effect that has on the collective. And that's why it's important to protect the truth and to speak the truth, and to not be afraid to speak the truth, so that the truth gains strength. The sword is getting sharper to slay away the bullshit and make things clearer to us, so we can have more of an understanding. And so this is why I did feel I had to make a video about this article, because it's the second time I've seen it be shared and quite a few people sharing it. And you know, yeah, thoughts can have a subtle effect, But the real effect is through the fifth chakra and through speaking. And so just meditating and thinking about things and how you want them to change is really only ever going to stay in that conscious aspect for you, because it has to be expressed on all three planes, because that is the principle of cause and effect. And I will post both this website here, the Kybalion, which goes into the 7 Hermetic Principles, and also this article here, and particularly this experiment here, showing that it's when, you know, basically the words are placed onto these containers that you see the changes. And so you can imagine the power that symbols have, okay, when symbols are fully understood, and the depth within a symbol is fully and profoundly understood. You know, knowledge has to be applied to become wisdom. It becomes wisdom when you understand it on all of the causal planes. That's when it becomes a knowing. That's when it becomes wisdom. When on every single plane you resonate to that knowledge or information and accept it on all those levels. So anyway, I'll leave it here, and as I said, yeah, I'll post the Kybalion and also this article underneath, and have a look at this experiment. And as always, peace out.